Maybe he's wearing a diaper. Yep. Well, I mean, is he gonna get upset because he is wearing a diaper? But is he gonna be happy that Joe Rogan outed him on his show about his diaper? You guys let me know. I mean, Donald Trump doesn't take well to people speaking ill of him. Let's be honest. The next thing you know, Donald Trump will be calling for Joe Rogan's podcast license to be taken. So just recently, Donald Trump went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and my opinion of the podcast itself was it was boring. You know, if you were to get Joe Rogan and Donald Trump together, you would expect that at the least it would be some pretty lowbrow entertainment. But to be honest with you, I have the same opinion of the Joe Rogan Donald Trump interview as I do of the Lex Friedman Donald Trump interview. It was boring. Donald Trump rambled. Joe Rogan pushed back very little. And it seems to be a theme. But there were some really entertaining things that got said after the fact when Joe Rogan sat down with three of his buddies, which there was probably about 12 to 14 brain cells in the entire place, and Joe Rogan probably had 4 of them. And they had some really funny things to say about Donald Trump and kind of what they thought of the interview and the possibility of bringing Kamala on as well. So I wanted to cover a little bit of this, and I wanted to give you guys a look at a couple of the things that Joe said about Trump and the interview, including one really funny thing about his bathroom behaviors. So let's take a look at this clip where he talks about how Donald Trump would not answer any of the questions.
He danced a little.
The politician came out.
No, he's real good at you ask him a question and he starts to answer it, but then he takes you on a totally different route.
The weave.
You gotta bring him back in, but you gotta be respectful. So it's like I knew that's the way he does it, but I'm like, I understand what you're doing, sir. But let's get it back to what I was asking you.
Yeah, you did that a couple times.
I was like, I want to know what that first fucking day is like, and I don't think I really got that answer out of him.
Yeah, and that was just the interview in a nutshell. Just Joe Rogan asking a question and then Donald Trump rambling. His cognitive decline is completely on display at this point. And, you know, he says a lot of words. He says the best words, but he does not actually make any sense at all. So I just thought that was really interesting. There's a little bit of maybe disappointment on Joe Rogan's side of the interview that he couldn't get him to sit and answer a single goddamn question. And probably one of the things that drove me the most crazy about watching this interview was the sane washing of the insanity that is Donald Trump. The number of times that Joe Rogan mentioned that Donald Trump was just misunderstood. He couldn't figure out why the media would call him out for the things that he's done after being his friend for so long. And I pointed this out before, that everybody's got a friend. Everybody's got a friend, and that friend, they like him, even though he's kind of an a-hole. They like him, even though he may have done some bad things in their life. But none of them want to see that person become the president of the United States. And when, let's say, some of their more nefarious things come out of their closet, they also tend to stop supporting that person. And it's something that I think Joe just never has wrapped his mind around. The fact that once a person has been held liable of essaying a woman and all the other things that Donald Trump has done, yeah, some of his friends don't feel like supporting him anymore. It's crazy. Anyways, this is something that Joe Rogan had to say about some of the misconceptions that he believes are had of Donald Trump.
With the Trump stuff is just that the people look at the inflammatory things he says, the crazy shit, and they define him by that. But you also have to remember this is a very bizarre combination of an entertainer and a businessman. Mm-hmm. So it's an entertainer that, like, he's like a comedian, man. He says funny shit. He does it all the time.
Very funny.
He's always,
constantly
when he makes
roasting.
fun of Biden.
Constantly roasting.
He's funny,
He's
man.
New York. He's very New York.
I mean,
He's
the
quick.
fact that
And this is it. This is where Joe Rogan believes that everybody should just agree with him that we should, elect for the president of the United States, the leader potentially of the free world, the country that most other countries look to as a role model for what they're doing, we should elect the funniest guy, the guy with the best insults. You know, hey, forget the fact that overall he was a pretty lackluster president. Forget the fact that, you know, character-wise he's not a very good person. Forget the fact that he committed a little treason. It's no big deal. He's kind of funny, so we should elect him. So while talking about Donald Trump, they went on to get a little bit sidetracked by the details of the P. Diddy indictments and what could have possibly been going on there. And this is the type of thing that I think I just want to point out to everybody. When you're looking for political advice, the last people you should ever be asking who you should vote for is Eddie Bravo, Brennan Schaub, and Joe Rogan. Pretty much, you could take whatever they say on their show and just do the exact opposite, and you could have potentially a better, more positive outcome. Just potentially. But this is the type of highbrow intellectual stuff you're going to get from the Joe Rogan podcast, and the type of people that follow this to decide whether or not they're going to vote for a person. Well, you can just imagine exactly who those people are.
Bro,
imagine a Diddy party with no lube. Come on, man. Come on, man.
This is important.
I bet he doesn't even. I bet Diddy's not even gay. I bet it's just he really enjoys fucking guys. Just so he said he fucked them.
Yeah, it's a power move.
I bet it's a crazy.
That would definitely make you gay.
Gay though?
Crazy, yes, it does. Crazy, drugged up power move. Yeah. You know,
it's not full.
I can understand putting him in a headlock.
Also, filming everybody and having.
Yeah, they're literally arguing in the background there, if you can't hear it, over whether or not having sex with a man makes you gay. This is the level of intellect that you are appealing to when you are Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, and Brennan Schaub. The people watching his show are people that would argue whether having sex with another man makes you gay. So, you know, take their political advice with a grain of salt. But quite possibly the best part of this little recap that he had with his friends here was the point in which Joe Rogan may have said something that may make Donald Trump a little upset. You know, he's not good when it comes to jokes at his expense. So let's take a look at that clip. You guys let me know. You let me know if what he said will piss Donald Trump off.
This ability to just keep going. This is what's crazy. Like, the podcast is 3 hours long. The guy didn't pee before the podcast. He didn't pee after the podcast.
You don't say.
Little
left.
catheter.
Maybe
he drinks more
diaper.
Diet Cokes than me.
Yeah, we're going to play that one more time for you. I want you guys to hear that one more time.
Hours long. The guy didn't pee before the podcast. He didn't pee after the podcast.
Maybe he had a
just
little
left.
catheter.
Maybe
he drinks more
diaper.
Diet Cokes than me.
Maybe he's wearing a diaper. Yep. Well, I mean, is he going to get upset because he is wearing a diaper? But is he going to be happy that Joe Rogan outed him on his show about his diaper? You guys let me know. I mean, Donald Trump doesn't take well to people speaking ill of him. Let's be honest. The next thing you know, Donald Trump will be calling for Joe Rogan's podcast license to be taken. Anyways, thought I'd hop on here, let you guys see this. You guys let me know what you think about it. I thought it was kind of funny to hear it. He is talking about having Kamala on his show. I do believe Kamala should go on the show, and she should have a conversation, because I think Kamala will absolutely kill it. If you listen to this video, Joe's thoughts on the Trump podcast, and if Kamala will be on, you will hear some of the dumbest things you have ever heard 3 dudes say, and that bar is set hella high, okay? But just to see these dipshits have to actually eat their words, I would love to see Kamala Harris go on Joe Rogan's podcast and blow their goddamn minds. What's left of them, at least. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you next time.